Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss all the type C questions of the chapter Understanding Sorting, which is chapter 10 of class 11. So in this chapter there are two types of sorting techniques have been discussed, that is bubble sort and insertion sort. So before starting with the questions, let me just tell you briefly how this bubble sort and insertion sort is done. But before that, I will just suggest you to go through another video where these two sorting techniques have been discussed in detail. You can get the link in the description box or by clicking the I button also. But here I'm just telling you briefly how this program is done. So as you know, bubble sort is basically compare and swapping sort. That means the list which has to be sorted, in that the first element will be compared with the second one and they will be swapped. That means if to keep them in order, that means if you are sorting in ascending order, then the smaller number should come to the beginning and the bigger one go back. Okay, like in this case, you can see the list L over here is having these elements 5, 2, 4, 9, 1. So 5 will be compared with 2 and they will be swapped because 5 is the bigger one. So 5 will go next, 2 will come to the beginning. Now the next 5 and 4, they will be compared and they will be swapped if required. So this thing will go on till the end of the list. So at the end of the first pass, you will find that the biggest element will be at its proper position or like at the last position. Now the same process will continue for the second time, but excluding the last element. We will not sort the last element because it is already in its proper position. So in the second pass, the same comparison and swapping will be done with all the elements starting from first element till the last but one element. So in the third pass, so at the end of the second pass, you'll find that the two bigger elements will be at the last position. That means two elements will be at its proper position. So the next comparison and swapping will be done with the rest of the elements. So like this, it will continue. So it will be done through two loops. That means one loop is nested within another loop. So the outer loop is iterating through the number of passes. So we will take for I in range n minus 1. So how many number of passes will be required? It will be n minus 1 number of passes, where n is the length of the list. Now within each outer loop, you have to take another inner loop where for j in range n minus 1 minus I, and this loop will iterate through the list n minus 1 minus I number of times. So during this loop, like in this loop, your comparison and swapping will be done. So this loop will range from 0 to n minus 1 minus I. Why? Because at the end of each outer iteration, your last I elements will be sorted. Okay, so within that, what you have to do, you have to compare. If L of j is greater than L of j plus 1, that means if the first number is bigger than the second number, then they will be swapped. L of j will be L of j plus 1 and L of j plus 1 will be L of j. So this is a swapping statement. So at the end of the loop, you'll find that the list will be sorted. Then you can print it. So once you print, you will get the sorted list is like this. So this is how you will do bubble sort. So to understand it better, you just go through another video, which is the link is given in the description box. Now next is the insertion sort. In this sorting technique, the list is considered to be a combination of two parts. One is the sorted part and the other one is the unsorted part. Now we will take one element from the unsorted part, which is considered as the key, and we will insert in its proper position of the sorted part of the list. So this is how it is done. So initially we will consider the first element to be the sorted element. That means your sorted part of the list consists of the first element and the unsorted part of the list consists of the rest of the elements. Now here in this case, the element 2 is the key element which has to be inserted in the proper position of the sorted part of the list. So 2 will be first compared with 5 and it is found that 5 is bigger than 2. So 2 will be inserted before 5. Okay, this is how it will be done. In the next iteration, 4 will become the key because 4 is the first element of the unsorted part of the list. Now 4 will be first compared with 5 because that is just present before it. So if it is it is found that 5 is bigger than 4, then 4 will be compared with 2. Now it is found that 2 is smaller than 4, so 4 will be placed after 2. So this is how insertion sort takes place. So for j in range 1 to length of L, that means j will iterate from the first element at index number 1, that means the second element, till the length of the list. The second element will be considered as the key and I will be j minus 1. Now one more while loop will iterate through the sorted part of the list and it will be all the elements will be compared with the key. And the element, if it is bigger, then the element will be shifted one position towards right, making room for the key element to be inserted. Okay, so L of I plus 1 is equal to L of I. That means if the element is bigger in the sorted part of the list, then it will be shifted towards right and I becomes I minus 1. Okay, so this will continue in the while loop until I becomes 0. That means till the first element of the list. Now L of I plus 1 is equal to key. So key will be inserted at its proper position. Now I can see the sorted list is like this. So once you run the program, you will get your sorted list. Now to understand these two algorithms better, I will just suggest to go through that video which is present in the description box. The link is given. Otherwise, you can just check the I button to get the link also. Now let's begin with the first question where election is a dictionary where key value pair in the form of name and votes received. Write a program that sorts the contents of the election dictionary and create two lists that stores the sorted data. List A of I will contain the name of the candidate and list B will contain the votes received by candidate in list A of I. Print the name of the candidate with votes received in decreasing order of the number of votes received. Okay, that means we have to just sort the elements according to the decreasing order of the number of votes received. So now let's see how to do this. Now consider this dictionary election, which consists of the names of the candidate as the keys and the votes they have received as the values. Now the first thing is that we have to create two lists A and B. A will store the name of the candidates and B will store the number of votes. Okay, so we will just collect the keys, election.keys function we have to use to collect the candidate names and we will convert them into a list type of data by using list function and store it in a list type of variable that is A. Similarly, we will collect the values from this dictionary by using election.values function and we will just convert it into a list type of data by using list function. Okay, now our two lists are ready. Now the next thing we have to do is to convert list B, like we have to sort this list B which contains the values. Okay, so here we are using bubble sort to sort the values. So first of all, we will take the length of the list B and store it in a variable, let's say n. Now we will use two for loops for I in range n minus 1. Within that, for j in range n minus 1 minus I. As I discussed earlier, this is how you have to do bubble sort. If b of j is less than b of j plus 1, here we will take less than. Why? Because we are sorting in descending order. Then you have to swap. B of j is equal to b of j plus 1 and b of j plus 1 is equal to b of j. This is the swapping statement. Then after that, you will get that your list B will be sorted in descending order. Okay, that means you got the votes received in descending order. Now we will just create another dictionary. Let's say election underscore sort. I have given a name and I have just initialized it with one empty dictionary. That means it is a dictionary type of data. Here we will store the values as per the descending order of the votes, number of votes received. Okay, so for that I have taken a list, for loop for I in B. That means for each value of the list B, for J in A. for each value in the list A. If election of j equal to I, that means j is the key value, that's the name of the candidate. If that is same as the value I, then election underscore sort of j equal to I. That means we will just assign that particular name as the key and this value I as its value in, and we'll assign it in a dictionary election underscore sort. Okay, so by the end of this for loop, your new dictionary election underscore sort will be populated with the key value pairs where the number of words will be in descending order. Now, once you run the program, you will get the output like this. Now, the next question is, given the following list L that stores the names of the Nobel Prize winners, each element of the list is a tuple containing details of one Nobel Prize winner. Now the list is like this. It contains first the name, then the subject in which I got the prize, and then the year. Like this, it has some tuples. Now write a program to sort the list in order of last names of the winners and use insertion sort algorithm. Now let's see how to do this one. Now consider this list, which is a list of tuples where each tuple contains the details of the Nobel Prize winner. Now here our key will be like this, the last name of the winner. Okay. So how we will do it? First of all, we will collect the names from the tuple. The names are present at index number 0. Okay. So L of J of 0. So that will give you the name. Now we have to collect the last name. So we can use the split function over here. So that split function will just split the name wherever it will find a space. Okay, so that means your name will be a list of strings where each string will contain each part of the name. So from that we will take the value which is at index number -1. So index number -1 will always contain the last name of the name, okay, from the string. So this is how we will collect the key and store it in a variable, let's say key. And we will have to collect the entire tuple also, so that we will store in another variable k. K will store L of j. And so we'll start for j in range 1 to length of L. K is equal to L of j, and key is like this to collect the last name. Now I is equal to j minus 1, and it will check till I becomes 0. It will check whether all the values which are present before that, its key is less than this value or not, just to sort them in particular in ascending order. As you know, this is following the insertion sort algorithm. So L of I plus 1 is equal to L of I. That means moving the elements towards right. Now I is equal to I minus 1. Then L of I plus 1 is equal to K. That means inserting the particular tuple in its proper position. Then finally you can just print the list. So once you run the program, you'll get the output like once you run the program, you'll get the output like this. Here, all the tuples are arranged like this according to the last name or the alphabetic order of the last name of the prize winner. Now write a program to read a list containing 3-digit integer only. Then write an insertion sort function that sorts the list on the basis of one's digit of all element. Okay. So now let's say this is the program. This is a list containing all the 3-digit numbers. Now we have to sort according to the digits which are present at units place. Okay. So we have just used insertion sort over here. So for G in range 1 to length of L, we will take the key as L of J percentage 10. So this will collect the digit which is present at units place. So that will be the key. And the entire number will be stored in a variable, let's say num, which will store L of j to store the number. Now I is equal to j minus 1. Now the while loop will execute till for the sorted part of the list, that is while I greater than equal to 0 and L of I percentage 10 is greater than key. That means for each element it will check whether its last digit or the digit at units place is greater than key or not. That means it will iterate through the sorted part of the list. Then L of I plus 1 equal to L of I. That means moving the bigger elements towards right. I is equal to I minus 1. Then L of I plus 1 is equal to num. We have already stored that value in a num variable and we will just insert it in proper position. Now the list is sorted as per units place digit, that is L. You can just print it. Now the output is like this. The numbers are sorted like this: 510, then 401, then 213. Like this it will come according to the digits at units place. Now write a program to perform sorting on the given list of strings on the basis of length of strings. That is, the smallest length string should be the first string in the list and the largest length string should be the last string in the sorted list. Okay, so first of all, we will take a list of strings. Here you can see the list is like this. Every experience is a lesson. All these words are in a form of string. Now here we are using bubble sort to sort the list of strings according to the length. So first of all, we will take the length of the string and store it in a variable n. Now I will range from 0 to n minus 1. Within that, j will range from 0 to n minus 1 minus I. Then it will check if length of L of j is greater than length of L of j plus 1. That means if the length of the first string is greater than the next string, then they will be swapped. Okay, then swapping will take place. So that will take place within this nested for loop. Then after that, you'll get your sorted list is like this. Once you run the program, you'll get the output like this. First, the smallest thing will appear, then the largest string will appear in the last. Now write a program that sort a list of tuple elements in descending order of points using bubble sort. The tuple element of the list contain following information about different players, that is player number, player name and points. Now we have to sort according to points. Let's see. Now just consider this list of tuples where each tuple contains the record of the player and we have to sort it according to the points. The points is present at index number 2 of each tuple. Okay. So first of all, we'll collect the length of the tuple and store it in a variable n. Now for I in range n minus 1 and j in range n minus 1 minus I, within that, we have to do this comparison. If t of j of 2 is less than t of j plus 1 of 2, that means if the point which is present at index number 2 of the first tuple is less than the points of the second tuple, then they have to be swapped, because here we are sorting according to the descending number of the points. So we have to take less than. Then you need to swap them. Okay, like this it will continue. Then finally you'll get the sorted list of tuples in descending order. Now once you run the program, you will get the output like this. The tuples in descending order of points is like this. Now here is the solutions of chapter 10, understanding sorting. Here we have discussed all the type C questions. But before that, I would seriously recommend you to go through that video where this sorting algorithms are discussed in detail, so that it will be easy for you to understand all these problems. Otherwise, it will be difficult. And if there is any doubt, you can just put it in comment section and stay tuned for more solutions and do subscribe. Thank you.